Hello. 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 With a heart caught up in doubt and worry, I face my life every morning, wanting to shine, but somehow holding back joy and fear, soar within my heart. Still I know, even one as small as I can run into someday and find a shining, shimmering, brilliant light flowing from a path that never ends. Instead of losing hope or fearing what's ahead, let's keep on moving forward with our heads up high, for we are all living in a world that embraces you and me with its love, supported by the prayers of those who care for us. We're never alone in our lives. When I'm down and ready to surrender, when times are hard and it seems so dark, just know we will walk to the shining, shimmering, brilliant light flowing from a path that never ends. Instead of losing hope or fearing what's ahead, let's keep on moving forward with our heads up high. For we are all living in a world that embraces you and me with its love, supported by the prayers of those who care for us. We're never alone in our lives. Instead of losing hope or fearing what's ahead, let's keep on moving forward with our heads up high. For we are all living in a world that embraces you and me with its love, supported by the prayers of those who care for us. We're never alone in our lives. With a heart caught up in doubt and worry, face my life morning, wanting to shine, but somehow holding back joy and fear, soar within my heart. Still I know, even one as small as I can run into someday and find a shining, shimmering, brilliant light flowing from a path that never ends. Instead of losing hope or fearing what's ahead, let's keep on moving forward with our heads up high. For we are all living in a world that embraces you and me with its love, supported by the prayers of those who care for us. We're never alone in our lives. When I'm down and ready to surrender, when times are hard and it seems so dark, just knowing each day that I'm never on my own gives me strength and courage to try harder. Holding hands with my friends standing by my side, swinging arms together we will walk to the shining, shimmering, brilliant light flowing from a path that never ends. Instead of losing hope or fearing what's ahead, let's keep on moving forward with our heads up high. For we are all that With a heart caught up in doubt and worry, I face my life every morning, wanting to shine, but somehow holding back joy and fear, soar within my heart. Still I know, even one as small as I can run into someday and find a shining, shimmering, brilliant light flowing from a path that never ends. Instead of losing hope or fearing what's ahead, let's keep on moving forward with our heads up high, for we are all living in a world that embraces you and me with its love, supported by the prayers of those who care for us whenever lives. When I'm down and ready to surrender, when times are hard and it seems so dark, just knowing that gives me strength and courage to try harder. Holding hands with my friends standing by my side, sweet arms together we will walk to the shining, shimmering, brilliant light glowing from a fearing what's ahead. Let's keep on moving forward with our heads up high, for we are all living in a world that embraces you and me with its love, supported by the prayers of those who care for us. We're never alone in our lives. Instead of losing hope or fearing what's ahead, keep on forward with heads up high, for we are all living in a world that embraces me with its love, supported by the prayers of those who care for us. We're never alone in our lives. With a heart caught up in doubt and worry, I face my life every morning, wanting to shine, but somehow holding back joy and fear, soar within my heart. Still I know, even one as small as I can run into someday and find a shining, shimmering, brilliant light flowing from a path that never ends. Instead of losing hope or fearing what's ahead, each day that I'm never on my own gives me strength and courage to try harder. Holding hands with my friends standing by my side. Swinging arms together we will walk to the shining, shimmering, brilliant light glowing from a path that never ends. Instead of losing hope or fearing what's ahead, let's keep on moving forward with our heads up high. For we are all living in a world that embraces you and me with its love, supported by the prayers of those who care for us. We're never alone in our lives. Instead of losing hope or fearing what's ahead, let's keep on. For we are all living in a world that embraces you and me with its love, supported by the prayers of those who care for us.
Morning. Happy New Year's. 新年明けましておめでとうございます。Hau'oli makahikiho. And thank you for joining us for today's New Year's ceremony, along with our monthly ceremony for Tenchi Kane no Kami and our January monthly memorial service. Today, I think everything should be uploaded in the service order, so please make sure you're taking a look at that as well. And with that, let's start today's ceremony. So let's begin with a prayer for sincere toritsugi that should be at the very top of the service order. The hyperlink is there. Go ahead and click that on. All right, let's begin. Haide. 4 sincere claps. Prayer of sincere toritsugi. I am a Konkō Kyo believer. I believe in Ikigami Konkō Daijin, Tenchi Kane no Kami. I have come today to practice my faith, appreciate and acknowledge the blessings, favors, and interventions of Tenchi Kane no Kami. Honor the ancestors, and learn more about the faith of Konkō Daijin. As I learn more about the heart of Tenchi Kane no Kami, I nurture the faith of my spiritual family. Thus, I boldly confess that my mind is alert, my heart is receptive, and I will never be the same as long as I practice the faith and receive toritsugi. Ikigami Konkō Daijin sama, Tenchi Kane no Kami sama. Thank you. Haide. 一度拝礼 4 sincere claps. Please bow your heads in prayer. 包みて、Ikigami Konkō Daijinの御前に間を割く。今より元旦祭並びに、Tenchi Kaneの神月霊祭、睦月の月霊祭、執り行わんとす。教祖金光大臣をはじめ、歴代金光様、金光教大阪教会、道広教会、玉水親教会、サンフランシスコ教会、ワヒアワ教会、各教会、初代教会長、歴代教会長の御徳をすがり申し、今日の御祭り、使え祭らんと申す。これあげ、こなわんれい、記憶5日に、滅神祭る、信奉者もろもろ、おのも身を正し、心新たに、ただかしめたまえと、半取り次ぎ、コインネギ祭りて、かしこみも申す。Ikigami Konkō Daijin, I seek your toritsugi for today's service. Today, we conduct the New Year ceremony, Tenchi Kane monthly ceremony, and January monthly memorial service. As someone without virtue, I seek to receive and cling to the virtue of Konkō Daijin, the successive Konkō Samas, as well as the founding and past head ministers of the Konkō Church of Osaka, Michihiro, Hamamizu, San Francisco, and Wahiwa for today's service. Today, the believers and I come together with our hearts, bodies, and minds refreshed, purified, and ready for today's service. Thank you. Now, may raise your heads. Ama tsunori to Takaman no hara ni kamuzumarimasu. Kamurogi kamuromi no mikoto mochite Sumemi uya kami zanagi no mikoto Tsukushin no hyugan no tachibanan no Odo no wawagi haran ni misogi Arai tamau toki ni aremaseru Arai don no kami tachi moro moro no Waga goto tsumi kegare を払い、たまい清めたまえと申すことのよしよは待つ神国津神やおよろずの神たちともに雨の淵こまの耳振り立てて聞こしめせとかしこみも申す。Please open your prayer books to page 3 for the Kami prayer. Reverently we pray. The brilliance of heaven, the richness of earth. Time flows without cease, years pass without end. In heaven and earth is a life that nurtures all. In heaven and earth is a truth that orders all. For this wondrous form, for these wondrous works, let us praise Tenchi Kane no Kami. Let us praise the divine parent of the universe. Kami loves and cares for all humanity, all those who live between heaven and earth. To revere Kami as the divine parent, to live in Kami's infinite blessings, this is the way. Yet many, not knowing the way, are lost in greed and selfishness. They suffer the cycle of misfortunes. Great is Kami's sorrow. Our founding father, Konkō Daijin, suffered many trials in this world, but held fast to faith and sincerity. He received Kami's great blessing and began the life of mutual fulfillment of Kami and humanity. Humbly we pray. Divine Parent's great wish was thus fulfilled. Konkō Daijin accepted the call to mediation that leads to the mutual benefit of Kami and humanity. By day, he taught the way of faith to all who sought him, expounding the blessings of heaven and earth. And he knew not the coming of night. By night, he prayed for those who grieved, seeking salvation for all who suffered. And he knew not the dawning of day. Though years passed and the world changed, he did not waver from his task, the divine task of mediation. Thus was given the sacred Tenchi Kakitsuke, the guiding principle for our daily life. The divine favor was thus renewed and blessings flowed universally, establishing the way of eternal prosperity, the way of mediation of Ikigami Konkō Daijin. By this wondrous revelation, we are given knowledge of the way. Through all the hardships of this world, through pain of body and soul, the way of mediation teaches us to turn our hearts to Kami. Without regard for day or night, Whether we are near or far, the way of mediation teaches us to pray with total trust. For living unaware of divine favor, we offer our sincere apologies and pledge to mend our ways. Let us live our faith every day, seeking and rejoicing in your divine favor. Let us care for those in pain and invite them to the way. Let us guide those who are lost and awaken them to a life of purpose. Kami is fulfilled in us. We are fulfilled in Kami. May this way of mutual fulfillment be manifested in this world. May Kami's wish for true peace and the well-being of all people be fulfilled. So we humbly pray. So we earnestly pray. Chido Keire, please bow your heads in prayer. Kakenmaku mo kashikoki, Tenchi Kane no Oyagami sama no o hiromae, Ikigami Konkō Daijin no mimae ni, Konkō Kyo San Diego教会長が橋禅寺と貸し込みも毛作新たまの年の初めの今日の朝日の豊坂昇りに元旦祭の祭り並びに天地金の神月霊祭月の月霊祭祭らんとす賢かれど我が天地金の神橋神未徳天地にあまねく道渡らせたまいこの皆を生かし老図のことを整えたまいて聞いても天地の間に住む人間はみんな神のうち神の愛し事を入れた慈しみすべての人の立ち行きを願わせたまいて教祖池上金光大臣日本取り付きをよざしたまいそがみ技は代を重ねて受け継ぎ表され難儀に苦しむ人ら次々に救い助けられ教会は国のうちとに生まれ教団の働きとしともに進展しきたり観比例やマシンに輝き渡りてあるは賢とも賢し Here at this purified and blessed site of the Konkō Church of San Diego, your beloved children have gathered together this morning with purified hearts, minds, and bodies. In one heart and mind, with hearts full of love and joy, as well as appreciation and sincerity for the many favors and blessings you have showered upon them in 2020. Together, we have come to celebrate the new year. We are very grateful to be allowed to celebrate the New Year's ceremony for the third time on New Year's Day. In this first service of 2021, we offer our appreciation by acknowledging you for the blessings, favors, protections, grace, and interventions we received in 2020. And I know that we will continue to receive them in 2021. We know that the words thank you are not enough to truly equal all that you have showered us with. We thank you for each and every member for their continued faith that has allowed not only the establishment, but also the continuation of the San Diego Church into our 34th year. We mahalo each member who has kept the dream that was in Dr. Katsumi Miyai and Reverend Norikazu Yukawa's heart alive. We also give thanks for those who left us early, for their presence and contributions to just our lives, not just our lives, but also to the church. We're truly grateful for the blessings, favors, and interventions that each of us has received that was able to help us get this far in our relationship with you. We offer our hearts of appreciation for the daily goyo of our spiritual patriarch, Kyoshi Konkō-sama. Please keep him and his wife healthy in order for them to continue with their goyo. We thank you for our parent churches and their respective head ministers, Konkō Church of Tamamizu, Reverend Masao Yukawa, and Konkō Church of San Francisco, Reverend Joanne Lynn Tolosa. We also offer prayers of appreciation for those ministers who have supported and continue to pray for not just the San Diego Church, but also the flame of faith that continues to burn ever so brightly here in San Diego County. Mahalo Anui for the Reverends Kenshin Konkō, Kyoji Konkō, Toyo Saito, Roderick Hashimoto, Koichi and Seiko Konkō, Kyoshi and Wakiko Igawa, Mitsuo Ishimatsu, Edna Matsuoka, Kazuichi Nogata, Shuko Tsuda, Nobuharu Uzunoe, Michinori and Ikueyagi, Mitsuko Yasutake, Bishop Amy Uzunoe Chin, and Mrs. Chioko Miyai. Please keep these individuals in good health so that they be allowed to continue to do their sacred goyo. We are also grateful for the many believers who continue to support the San Diego Church through their prayers and positivity. At this time, as an ohana, we offer our hearts of appreciation for the Reverend Kagamitaro Konkō, the fourth spiritual head who passed on January 10, 1991, 30 years ago. He took over from his father, the Reverend Setsutane Konkō. However, before assuming the position as Konkō-sama, he was instrumental in sharing his faith through his poetry, preserving the faith by founding the Konkō Library, and nurturing the faith through Toritsugi. We thank him for his dedication, faith, and love for humanity and Konkō-kyo. Kami-sama, 2020 was a very difficult year for millions of us throughout the world. We witnessed social injustices and economic disparities. Even within our own politics, we have seen corruption and stupidity being displayed by our own leaders, regardless of political party. Homelessness and hunger has increased. Depression, obesity, and health issues have plagued even the healthiest among us. However, on this day, we ask you to stand by us and give us the strength to be the light of faith. As we practice our faith, let our light grow and glow taller, farther, and wider. Help us to find the courage to face 2021 with love, compassion, and faith. Let our faith be the beacon of hope for our families, friends, co-workers, neighbors, and our fellow brothers and sisters. It is our prayer that the positive energy of today's service stay in our hearts as we wake up each morning and renew ourselves. For each day is a fresh new beginning, much as a founder taught us. For faith, daily renewal is most important. Live each day with the same happy heart that you have on New Year's Day. When the sun sets, think that it is the last day of the year. When the sun rises, think that it is the New Year's Day. If you're happy every day, there will be no discord in the family. End quote. Kami-sama, help us to remember to enjoy the blessings we are receiving every day. And we ask for your protection and guidance with every step we take. Blessings such as the life we are allowed to receive daily. Blessings such as the food, air, and water that we partake of and allow us to live. Blessings such as ohana and friends who are there to love, support, and care for us. Help us to live a kami-centered life as we are all allowed to live in the universe through your grace. As we work to achieve our goals for 2021, whether it be for our occupation, studies, health, relationships, faith, and personal growth. Help us to remember to enjoy the blessings we're receiving every day. Today, we ask for your protection, and every day we ask for your protection and guidance with every step we take. Please give us the strength to move forward in all aspects of our lives. Help us to live a kami-centered life as we are allowed to live in this universe through your grace. We implore you to please use us as your instruments of peace, to make an impact big or small on our communities, cities, counties, and countries. Guide us in our hearts and our actions to be embracing, loving, kind, and generous. Where there is hatred, let us sow love. Where there is injury, let us offer forgiveness. Where there is discord, let us build peace. May the Konkō Church of San Diego continue to receive the divinity and virtue of the headquarters worship hall, as well as our parent churches, Tamamizu and San Francisco, in order to reveal Ikigami Konkō Daijin's Toritsugi mediation. Let the church continue to be filled with love and joy to help heal the hearts of those seeking to be saved. Please support us to be a church that will spread the word, heal the wounded, pray for our communities, and create bridges to the communities we serve. We ask for you to take the reign and guide us to a new home and in rebuilding the San Diego Church before December 31st, 2023. We will not be dependent on others, including Konkō headquarters and KCNA. As an ohana, we will cling to you and trust in you to rebuild our church. Kami-sama, we pray that together with you, we will be allowed to have a safe, prosperous, abundant, healthy, and joyous 2021. We pray that our relationship with you will continue to deepen and we will learn to cling to you in all aspects of our lives. As I bring this prayer to a close, it is our prayer that we can start this year in safety, in peace and harmony, with courage and faith, in love and joy. We pray that the blessings and favor of today's service is granted and received by all here today and those who could not join us. Me ke aloha pumehana. Mahalo anuye. Ikigami Konkō Daijin. Tenchi Kane no Kami. Now, please raise your heads. Chido tomoni haire, 4 sincere claps along with the head officiant. Please open your prayer books. Please open your prayer books to page 29 for Shinto Sanji. Aogi matsureba ten takaku. Aogi matsureba ten takaku. Orogami matsureba chiwatsushi kami no megumi ni ikasaru. Min no saiwai zo arigataki waga ikigami no ontori tsugi hitohin mo takuru toki no naku tenchi no kami no onmamori toki chikaki no edate nashi kan itsukushimi wa yorozu yo ni amaneku michi de hate shinaku kan hakarai wa usushikute hito no omoi zo wo yobazaru warera kongetsu konnichi iabi matsuri de hitasura ni kami no mikage wo tatae matsuran kami no hirei yo aogi matsuran. Prayer for the ending of the novel coronavirus pandemic. Ikigami Konkō Daijin sama Tenchi Kane no Kami sama. Ikigami Konkō Daijin sama Tenchi Kane no Kami sama. We offer our hearts of appreciation for your love and virtue as we are allowed to live in this very moment. Currently, a pandemic is rapidly spreading throughout the world. The novel coronavirus pandemic is causing much concern and raising anxieties amongst people and nations. Thus, we offer our hearts and prayers to you to end this pandemic as soon as possible. Sadly, there are those who have passed away because of this virus, and we put our hands together to pray for their spirit's peace and salvation. We also pray for those who are infected by the virus to quickly heal and recuperate in order that they may continue to contribute to society and the world. We pray for political, economical, and educational reforms so that all the anxieties and distrust we have been harboring will dissipate and we will be blessed with societal order. For those that are suffering in the midst of this pandemic, please allow their faiths to be resurrected and their livelihoods be restored. Thus, now more than ever, we commit to reviving our hearts of appreciation, having a heart of kami, and praying for and guiding others. May we all be awakened to your truth that a faith that helps others helps ourselves. Use us to help you in this crusade to end this pandemic and bring peace to this world. It is our sincere prayer that the people of the world will not only have peace of mind, but also live happily, safely, and healthily. Ikigami Konkō Daijin sama Tenchi Kane no Kami sama. Ikigami Konkō Daijin sama Tenchi Kane no Kami sama. Chido Haire, 4 sincere claps. 一度拝礼 for sincere claps. Please open your prayer books to page 11 for prayer to the departed souls. Spirits of those who have gone before us, you were given the gift of life in this vast and endless universe. You discharge your duties faithfully, each according to your span of years. You will be remembered eternally, your lives retold from generation to generation, honored as a foundation of our society and the roots of our families. We revere you as the ancestral spirits of our homes, our own divine spirits. We beseech you, stand by us each and every one. Receive the favor of Kami and help us to fulfill our tasks as people without failing. Protect us, guide us, enrich us, that we may never lose the way of faith, that we hand it down to all generations, that we may live in peace and prosperity within our homes. Protect us, guide us, enrich us. Chido Keide, please bow your heads in prayer. Kamakumo Totoki, Kyoso Konkō Daijin ga umare, sote kudasare, Handori Juhei no Mitama no Kami, Handori Shimo no Mitama no Kami, tsukonre moshiage tate matsurimasu. Haogareta mo ana toto, 生きても神、死にても神と称えられたまいし、金光教大阪教会初代、白神いや広間道分の御事、大教会長、白神道よきいや高根の君の御霊の神、金光教道広教会初代、長木貞七、入試豊木牛の御霊の神、金光教南摩教会初代、本土逸垣藤森焼高野君の御霊の神、金光教東京教会初代、忠徳三郎東の道分の御事の御霊の神、大教会長旗はじめ牛の御霊の神、三大教会長旗清牛の御霊の神、三大教会長夫人、畑久美子姫の御霊の神、ありがとう。これのご霊殿に御心も麗しく静まります。金光教サンフランシスコ教会三大教会長、松井文雄牛の御霊の神、三大教会長夫人、松井文子姫の御霊の神、金光教玉水教会初代教会長、川安太郎三牛道照三柱牛の御霊の神、大教会長湯川茂牛の御霊の神、大教会長夫人、湯川富雄姫の御霊の神、三大教会長湯川康夫牛の御霊の神、三大教会長夫人、湯川真理子姫の御霊の神、 金光教銀座教会初代教会長湯川誠一牛の御霊の神初代夫人湯川津屋姫の御霊の神大教会長湯川信直牛の御霊の神ありがとうございます。これの総霊殿の奥罪どこに御心も麗しく静まります。金光教サンディエゴ教会初代湯川則和牛の御霊の神ありがとうございます。湯川家、土井家、牧野家、高橋家、白石家、ハンド家、ペティッツ家、ブスケ家、ビビンス家、中尾家、八田家、渋谷家、今岡家、先祖代々の御霊の神ありがとう。秀島力松の御霊の神、秀島八宗寺姫の御霊の神、秀島梅尾の御霊の神、大坪亀吉牛の御霊の神、石渡春子姫の御霊の神、後藤勲牛の御霊の神、後藤智代姫の御霊の神、武田貞子姫の御霊の神、湯浅久姫の御霊の神、児玉正幸牛の御霊の神、児玉菊江姫の御霊の神、児玉京子ドルフィー大戸寺の御霊の神、高橋春子マーガレット姫の御霊の神、安武光子姫の御霊の神、長井真紀夫の御霊の神、公家徳郎牛の御霊の神、石松梅子姫の御霊の神、清水幸喜彦の御霊の神、大場愛子姫の御霊の神、大場正則牛の御霊の神、坂井春子姫の御霊の神、坂井和子姫の御霊の神、伊藤幸姫の御霊の神、幸田玉姫の御霊の神、高橋須磨子姫の御霊の神、吉高龍右衛門牛の御霊の神、ありがとう。宮井家、スピース家、キス家、プレア家、ココスカ家、田代家、若林家、伊藤千尋の家の御霊の神、服部家、神林家、ミク家、ドラン家、フィンリー家、野添家、フランク家、浅野家、ジュイレティ家、須藤家、野口家、楠木家、長島家、デイビス家、オブライエン家、デロウェイ家、高見家、牧野家、園田家、田中清信の家の御霊の神、田中義雄の家の御霊の神、坂東光弘の家の御霊の神、谷口小波の家の御霊の神、バーサスケス家、河野家、飯森家、キャルフン家、藤本家、伊藤和子の家の御霊の神、森家、クエルチェル家、クレミンス家、福田恵子の家の御霊の神、ヘッ家、ポーツメン家、アイゼックス家、浜川家、モーリス家、オーラー家、サハラ家、坂田家、ズンウォル家、ホリンズワード家、瀬川家、浦田家、ブラウン家、ケプナッパ家、ジョー家、松井家、松野家、ガアン家、岡崎家、ロペーズ家、ゴーンズ家、秀島家、大坪家、ギルモア家、ハンフェルド家、菅原家、横塚家、永田家、沖本家、ストロング家、高橋家、長川家、宮本家、岩下家、青野家、山城家、森里家、ハブ家、森本家、小垣家、ビーロ家、ミー家、アッメン家、ウォン家の統治親よよの親たちからやからもろもろの御霊の神たちに厚婚礼申し上げます。サンディエゴ教会、北サンディエゴカウンティ集会、春ヶ谷校舎に関係にあるもろもろの家の先祖代々の御霊の神、ゆえんむもろもろの御霊の神に厚婚礼申し上げ立て祭ります。On behalf of the Ujiko of the San Diego Church, San Diego County, North County San Diego Gathering, the states of Arizona, state of Nevada, state of Texas, state of Hawaii, and Estados Unidos Mexicanos, I, Tenchi Takahashi, offer the following prayer. On this, the first day and first ceremony of the new year 2021, we remember and honor the following Mitama who passed away in the month of January. Yondai Konkō Sama Konkō Kagami Taro Kimi no Mitama no Kami, the fourth spiritual patriarch, Reverend Kagami Taro Konkō. Konkō Kyo Namba Kyokai Shodai Kondo Itsugaki Fujimori Akitaka no Kimi no Mitama no Kami, Namba Church founding minister, Reverend Fujimori Kondo. Konkō Kyo Karasuma Kyokai Nidai Kyokai Cho, Hata Kira Ushi no Mitama no Kami, Karasuma Church second head minister, Reverend Akira Takahashi. Konkō Kyo Kokura Kyokai Nidai Kyokai Cho, Katsura Mitsu Magokoro Aishin no Mitama no Kami, Konkō Kokura Church second head minister, Reverend Mitsu Katsura. Konkō Kyo Nakatachi Uri Kyokai Nidai Kyokai Cho, Imaoka Haruyoshi Ushi no Mitama no Kami, Nakatachi Uri Church second head minister, Reverend Haruyoshi Imaoka. Konkō Kyo Waipafu Kyokai Shodai Sonoda Santaro Ushi no Mitama no Kami, Waipafu Church founding minister, Reverend Santaro Sonoda. Konkō Kyo Tamamizu Kyokai Nidai Kyokai Cho, Yukawa Shigeru Ushi no Mitama no Kami, Tamamizu Church second head minister, Reverend Shigeru Yukawa. Konkō Kyo Futaiwa Kyokai Shodai Takahashi Sumako Hime no Mitama no Kami, Futaiwa Church founding minister, Reverend Sumako Takahashi. Mary Wainwright no Mitama no Kami, Rebecca Beadle no Mitama no Kami, Wayne Edward Quelchel no Mitama no Kami, John Henry Burchell no Mitama no Kami, Taniguchi Konami no Mitama no Kami, Takahashi Tsuneko Magokoro Tokiwa Hime no Mitama no Kami, Aono Yoshie Gladys Toji no Mitama no Kami, Ito Chihiro no Mitama no Kami, Jeffrey Toshio Meek no Mitama no Kami, Yoko Kambayashi no Mitama no Kami. Together, the San Diego Church Ohana have gathered today to offer our hearts of appreciation to all of you for everything you have done for each of us, society, and the world. We are grateful that we are able to come in a brand new year with all of you, to enter into a brand new year with all of you. And we thank you for continuing to be in and a part of our lives. We offer our special appreciation to the following Mitama who are celebrating honorary years. Yondai Konkō Sama Konkō Kagami Taro Kimi no Mitama no Kami, fourth spiritual patriarch, Reverend Kagami Taro Konkō, 30 years. Wayne Edward Quelchel no Mitama no Kami, 55 years. To all the Mitama called upon this morning, we thank you for watching over, guiding, and protecting us every single day. Thank you for embracing us daily with your love and warmth. And we know there are times when you just want to slap the back of our heads or roll your eyes and you wonder, what the heck? We apologize that sometimes we just do not know what we do and we appreciate your love and understanding. However, we ask that you please continue to embrace us with your love, understanding, and virtue. We implore you to help and support us to never give up in regards to the challenges of life. Guide us to turn our hearts to and trust in Kami. Please walk with us and guide us to have a heart that embraces all peoples, regardless of race, nationality, size, sexual orientation, gender, age, occupation, etc. Please guide your descendants to the church to learn more about our teachings of love and humanity. Today, we also pray for those who have passed away tragically due to war, natural disasters, crime, etc. We offer our hearts and prayers of love to all of you for the tragic means by which you left this world. We pray for your hearts to find peace and healing, as well as find forgiveness toward those who cause such heinous acts. It is our sincere prayer that along with Tenchi Kane no Kami, you will help to heal the wounds of the victims hurt. Comfort yours and other family members whose hearts are broken. And finally, we ask that you please join us in creating a world of not acceptance and tolerance, but instead of love, so no more tragedies and wars will take place. As this prayer comes to an end, we ask that all Mitama honored this month, as well as the families of all Mitama called forth, you please receive our prayers, hearts, and offerings. Please continue to shower upon us your love and prayers. Please continue to guide us, protect us, and enrich our lives with your presence and daily workings every day in 2021. Me ke aloha punehana, mahalo anuie, vitamano. Now, please raise your heads. tomoni haire 4 sincere claps along with the head officiant. Please open your prayer books to page 36 for Sosen Sanji. Yoyon no uya wa 我が家の神我が神と心尽くしていつき祭らな心尽くしていつき祭らな尊きみよやの神たちよ海の子のために家の柱を沈め立てたまい初子のために世のなりわいよ守り助けたまい隠りよのみえぬ境にましませども右つぐちみのみ心は映しよに変わらせたまわず先みたまのまさきく先は言えたまいくしみたまの不思議に恵みたまいて志は薪の柱の動きなくなりは湯は結ぶつなめのゆるりなく真心清らに励み努めしめたまいゆからやからやわらぎやいてきにけんにうらやすく楽しましめたまいついにうつしよのことを得て神のみ角に参らん時には必ずしも迎え取りたまい右つくしみよこむらしめたまわん ものと神の実りの絶えなるを差し込みかたじけなみいおやの恵みのおぼろげならぬを嬉しに喜び申すことを見心も涼やかにひこ示したまえと申す。あなくしびのみ親のみたま。あなくしびのみ親のみたま。あなととのみ親の神。あなととのみ親の神。自動拝礼 for sincere claps. 自動拝礼 for sincere claps. 玉だすきかけて祈らなよ世の親。親の御親の神の支配よ。玉だすきかけて祈らなよ世の親。親の御親の神の支配よ。自動拝礼。拝礼。Please open your prayer books to page 6 for the recitation of the Tenchi Kakitsuke. Ikigami Konkō Daijin Tenchi Kane no Kami Isshin ni Negae Kage wa waga kokoro ni ari Kongetsu konnichi de tanome. Pray sincerely with all your heart. Be one with Kami. Kami's blessings begin within hearts grateful and caring, in harmony and joy. Look to Kami always, now and forever. On this very day, pray. 拝礼。Good morning, and thank you again for coming. Before I start with today's sermon, let's do something. So in the chat room, if you're able to, in the chat room, could you please say Happy New Year to everybody so everybody can see your greeting? So just type in the chat box somewhere. I think it's like right there. Go ahead and please say your New Year's greeting out to everyone. Don't hesitate, just type it in there, Happy New Year's. Please go ahead and do that. But Happy New Year's, everyone. Hauli makahikiho. Shinne akemashite omedetou gozaimasu. Welcome. And thank you for joining us for today's New Year's Day ceremony. Today, before, every day I read the Oshirase Goto Boicho. If you don't have this, this is called the book. This is the book of Revelations. These are the revelations received by Konkō Daijin. And the other day I came across such a really powerful teaching that just kind of struck my heart. And it just reminded me about going back to the basics. I want to read that passage that really struck my heart to all of you. It says, your hiromai need not be swept and cleaned. Maintaining a harmonious heart is more important. Whether or not the hiromai is clean is a superficial matter. I'm going to read this again. Your hiromai need not be swept and cleaned. Maintaining a harmonious heart is more important. Whether or not the hiromai is clean is a superficial matter. And when I read this, this really struck my heart. And the reason why it struck my heart is not because I don't want to clean the hiromai. That's not the case. It struck me because, Reverend Wakiko Igawa always, when I was training at the Whittier Rose Hills Church, she made me clean the altars every single day. And to clean the altar, it actually takes about, if to really clean it thoroughly, it would take about anywhere between 1.5 hours to 2 hours in length to be able to clean all the altars, both altars. And for a small church, that's a lot. And it takes actually about 2 hours, 1.5 hours to 2 hours, even for our hiromai here. But she always told me, Todd Sensei, it's so important that when you're cleaning this altar, this is your opportunity to create this relationship with Kami-sama. At this time, get what you need to get out. Whatever you couldn't tell me or whatever you can't tell someone, then talk to Kami-sama. Purify your heart in this process. She gave me this opportunity to become very intimate with Kami-sama. And I thought that was so powerful. It was one of the most powerful teachings that she gave me. And this teaching is so powerful because it says, having a harmonious heart, how do we create this harmonious heart? How do we create this heart that is pure, that is heart that is, not to say that pure means, let's not go there. But anyway, we want to create this harmonious heart. And we ask ourselves, how do we create this harmonious heart? How do we create this harmonious heart? And she always told us, you've got, one of the things, the most basic, I think a lot of ministers at times, sometimes, and even with our diocese, we tend to forget the basics. And I'm so glad that, I came from a diocese that truly emphasized this basic relationship between Kami-sama and ourselves. Kami-sama and ourselves. We had to, this emphasis was so strong. And I'm very grateful for it. And it was always about Kami-sama and myself, Kami-sama and myself. And having this relationship, knowing that we're doing things together with Kami-sama and myself. Reverend Wakiko Igawa, and you can ask any of the Igawa children, they will all admit to this, has always probably taught them, whatever you do it with Konkō-sama. Whatever you do it with Konkō-sama. Whatever you do it with Kami-sama. Do it with your ancestors. Know that your ancestors are here today. And I'm going to be very honest. I think 2020 was such a hard year. I think for many of us, and there are times I got into a little funk. And I think Kami-sama and I think Yukawa Sensei just kind of kicked my butt and said, what are you doing? You need to get out of this funk. And I would write in the Gokinen-sho, and much like many other people, unfortunately, unlike the other ministers here in KCNA, I work full time. I'm not married. I don't have anyone to help pray from the altars. My time is so limited because as a high school teacher, I have a curriculum to create. I have grades to take care of. I have student work. And then I have also church that I also take care of. People who live in all different parts of the country, of the states, and it gets very tiring. And even though I write in the Gokinen-sho, I would always feel guilty that I'm not praying. And I always remember Wakiko Sensei saying to me, ask a mitama, or ask a spirit with great virtue and strength to help you, to pray with you. And even though I've done that, I've been doing that, I always ask, Yukawa Sensei, please, and my aunts, please help me, please. I don't have the time to sit down and pray. Will you pray? I've always felt guilty, and this guilt has continued until recently. And I don't know what made me do this, but before the end of the new year, I kind of wanted to start cleaning out my altar back at or in my room where I was staying. The bottom portion, I kind of wanted to clean it out and organize it. And I was looking at different things when I found something from our present Kyoshi Konkō-sama, from our present spiritual patriarch, something he wrote to me. And he wrote to, I have a feeling he wrote this to me because I expressed to him my dissatisfaction with myself. I was really hard on myself because back home in Hawaii, I too was busy. I had work, I had all these commitments, I was doing these things, but I made time to write in the Gokinensho, but I never had the time to sit down and take the prayer notebook and pray in front of the altar. I felt guilty, and Konkō-sama wrote, and he wrote something so powerful. He wrote, the moment you place the Gokinensho onto the altar, know that Kami-sama will take care of everything. Let me repeat what he said. He said, when you place the Gokinensho on top of the altar, know that Kami-sama will take care of everything. There's a deeper, very deep meaning behind this teaching, which says that there has to be effort on my part. Meaning, even though I put the Gokinensho on the altar, my altar at home, it means I had to take it off. I had to take the Gokinensho off. I had to write in the prayer notebook to be able to put it onto the altar again. When I read that, I started crying because I realized I've been making this effort. And I have to put more effort in so that Kami-sama will take care of everything. That knowing Konkō-sama, knowing that Yukawa Sensei, knowing that my aunt will be there to pray on my behalf, because now I have to focus on this, or maybe another church's service, or a sermon, or to prepare for Shintoku Academy, or for my work, knowing they will take care of it. And I was so grateful for that. But that meant I had to turn my heart to Kami-sama. One of the most basic elements of our faith. We get so caught up in theology, philosophy, and we forget the basics of our faith. And it was so interesting that this past week, Kami-sama has been guiding me back to the basics, which is something I've been so passionate about. I've been so passionate about the basics. For us, it's December 30th. In Japan, it was December 31st. I was yohai virtually. I did a virtual yohai. So, as some of you may know, we're doing services video via internet, and our parent church, the Konkō Church of Tamamizu, does it on internet too. And I did a virtual pilgrimage, virtual attendance at their end of year service. And at their end of year service, I was so touched. Oh my gosh, this had to be the most powerful, the simplest sermon given. Wasn't complex, wasn't difficult at all. It was so powerful. It was about coming back to the basics. And this sermon was done by Reverend Hisao Yukawa. I'm assuming that this is Yukawa Sensei's uncle. He is the head minister of the Konkō Church of Takatsuki Minami in Osaka Prefecture. And I was so touched by his story. He looked very frail. He looked like he was having a hard time, and he shared with us that when he was healthy, he not only took care of his church, but he always came back to his parent church to assist with goyo. One of the biggest goyos at goyo, or service to Kami-sama, one of the biggest goyos that he had was during the Mitama Matsuris, which is in March and in September, when they read up the names of every single Mitama. And if I'm correct, a couple of years ago, he began realizing, I need to stop doing this, because he was skipping names, he was skipping pages, and then so he would go back. And at Tamamizu Church, for the Mitama Matsuris, you cannot. Everything is based off of a time. I think it's 20 some odd minutes. Every 20 some odd minutes, certain number of books, which is a certain amount of time, has to be read. Everything has to be completed in that much time, because people, their believers, are coming at that time to hear their ancestors' name and to give thanks to their ancestors after hearing their ancestors' name. And this is a service that lasts at least 12, 16 hours. It's a very long but beautiful service. Beautiful service. And he said he began realizing that he wasn't able to do a lot of things at his own church. He began realizing that he couldn't help out at his own parent church, and he struggled with this. It became a huge burden onto his heart because his health condition prevented him from doing this goyo and participating in services and doing as much as he could. In fact, I was so touched by what he said. He said, before I could give a sermon and not have notes, not read off. I would never read off. I never have any notes. I knew what I wanted to say. I clearly knew what I wanted to say. And I said it, but now just reading his notes, and note, he gave no eye contact, because he said reading his notes was so laborious just for him. It was a lot for him. Sorry, I'm doing kind of a direct translation of his sermon, what he was saying. And I thought that said a lot. And Reverend Masao Yukawa, who is the head minister of the Tamamizu Church, I had asked him to do this sermon, and he wasn't sure whether or not to do it, but he decided to, after prayer and after seeking toritsugi, he decided to do it. So what about his sermon that struck my heart? What made it so powerful? His sermon was titled "With Corona," meaning the coronavirus, with Corona. And I thought, whoa, I wasn't ready for a sermon like that, like with Corona. Like, I don't want coronavirus, but with Corona. And he doesn't want it too, because he is in that age group. He's in that age group. So he shared with us that when he was going through all of this, when he was asked to do this sermon, he really reflected on his own faith. And he said, who am I depending on? And this is where I remember I've forgotten. I was recalling after hearing his sermon, like, oh my gosh, I did the same thing too. Oh my gosh, I did the same thing too. He said that human beings, the founding minister of the Tamamizu Church, Reverend Yasutaru Yukawa, often said, human beings, we are so dependent, not on Kami-sama. We forget to be dependent on Kami-sama. But we're dependent on the banks. We're dependent on money. When it comes to our health, we're dependent on the doctors. We're dependent on medication. We're dependent on insurance. We believe in insurance more than we believe in Kami-sama. We believe in the doctors more than we believe in Kami-sama. We believe in money more than we believe in Kami-sama. And this, because we believe in money, because we believe in medication and doctors more than Kami-sama, not to say that they can't coexist, that our problems continue to grow. That we forget about Kami-sama because there's the doctor here, the bank is here, the money is here. And he said we forget to turn our hearts to Kami-sama, the most basic of anything, to any faith. It's not even Konkō Kyo, any faith. Turning our hearts to Kami-sama. He said the Reverend Yasutaru Yukawa believed in with Kami-sama. When he started practicing faith, when he decided to become a minister, it was about, he really reflected on it. He said it's about being with Kami-sama, with Kami-sama, not with this kyoten, not with money, not with medication. With Kami-sama, I will take my medication. With Kami-sama, I will pay my bills. With Kami-sama. And this reminded me so much of Wakiko Sensei. So much of Wakiko Sensei. We can even look back at the source of teachings, Konkō Daijin's life. Konkō Daijin didn't worry about money. It was with Kami-sama, this would be taken care of. With Kami-sama, this will be dealt with. With Kami-sama, this will happen. Not because of money, yeah, no. Because of the doctor, yeah, no. It's with Kami-sama. We forget this. We truly do forget this. When we have goshinmai, when I take my medication, I always take a bit of goshinmai. I eat that, and I take my medication because with Kami-sama, I will take my medication, and my medication will work effectively to help me. Not just, I'm going to take medication, because that's turning my heart to the doctor, turning my believing in the doctor versus believing in Kami-sama. Reverend Hisao Yukawa went on to say that that Yasutaro Sensei had four ways by means in which we can receive okage. And I want to share that with you because, it made me reflect and say, Todd, oh my gosh, Todd, this is what you've always believed, this is what you've always known, and you've forgotten it. And I'm so ashamed that I've forgotten this. But I want to share with you the 4 things that about Yasutaro Sensei that he said are the ways to receive okage. And remember, okage is not just being favored by Kami-sama. It's the interventions of Kami-sama, the protection of Kami-sama. He said 1, going to church. Just coming to church. When, I think I shared this story that when I had just come back from Japan in 1994, I had done otoritsugi with Reverend Wakiko Igawa, my spiritual mentor, and she said, oh, you should go to church every single day. I said, well, I don't have time to go to church every day. I work full time and I have to go to school. And she said, if you ask Kami-sama to, you'll be able to. And so I did. I asked Kami-sama, and there was a 15-minute opening. And I said, yeah, but I can only be there for a short period of time. She said, why should that matter? Just go and give appreciation. Make that effort to see Kami-sama. Even though Kami-sama is all over the place, make that effort. Let me ask you, some of your parents, when your child calls you, oh, it's a great thing. But when your child visits you, that's even a greater thing. That means a great deal to you. You know that. If you're in the hospital, a phone call, a text message, an email means a lot. But when someone comes to visit you, the time and effort they took, don't you think the person in the hospital feels so much joy, is so grateful? It's the same with Kami-sama. He said the second way to receive blessings quickly. And it was so interesting because I didn't quite understand the terminology he used, but it was a word from the Kansai district, the Kansai area. It's a lingo from that area, and that word means during your deepest, darkest, harshest times, when you're struggling, when you're suffering, it is during that time that we pray. And you pray with the intensity. You pray and you don't give up. You don't give up. It was in 2013 that I had my lowest time of my entire life. It was the worst. And I was struggling. I was suffering. And, I will be honest. I thought about giving, if I killed myself, my suffering would end. And yet I knew if I killed myself, I would create more suffering. And that was when I finally sought toritsugi mediation. And here's where I was really stupid. I'm going to tell you this is how stupid I was. I sought mediation with Reverend Koichi Konkō. And he said, give me, please, this is a lot for me. Can you please wait until tonight or tomorrow morning for an answer? I said, absolutely. And he responded very quickly. Koichi Sensei responded very quickly to me. And he said, come to church every day to do goyo. And here's where my humanness took place. The human part of me said, how is coming to church going to solve my problem? How is coming to church to do goyo going to help me solve my problems? I don't know how it's going to solve my problems. So I waited a whole month until Mitama Matsuri. And it was then at the Mitama Matsuri, during the service, I felt someone push me in my back, and call me stupid. During the service, someone pushed me. And there's no one sitting behind me, but someone pushed me and called me stupid. And I looked at the altar, the Mitama altar, and said, who's calling me stupid? I said, who's calling me stupid? And I heard, I am. And I knew right off the bat that was my aunt, the late Reverend Haruko Takahashi. And I realized exactly what she meant. And on that day, I made the commitment to start coming to church every day to do goyo. You know, I'm going to tell you, when I reflect on that time, I struggled and I struggled and I struggled. There were times when my bed was safer than driving on the road. That staying in my bed was safer than going to church. And I would stay in my bed and I realized, no, I have to go to church. And I would get to church by maybe 10, 11 o'clock, very late. And Koichi Sensei not once said anything bad about me, not once made any judgment calls, but just kept praying. And amazingly, problem after problem after problem started being solved. In these darkest of times, when we pray, we become that light, that faith. We're facing the darkness. We're facing that darkness. And this is what I think Yukawa Sensei was saying. We're facing the darkness with Kami-sama. That's what Yukawa Sensei was saying. When we stand up and face that darkness, that's when Kami-sama begins to work even harder for us, helps us, extends his hand of mercy and love and intervention and protection. When I reflect on that time, I remember going to Koichi Sensei and said, you know, at that time, I wasn't working. I only had a part-time job. And I have no clue how I was able to drive from work. I was able to drive from home all the way to church every day. That's a lot of money for gas. And if you live in Hawaii, our gas is pretty expensive. And he said, yeah, Kami-sama took care of that for you. Kami-sama. The third thing that Hisao Sensei mentioned about Yukawa Sensei was that to receive Okage, the third thing was while we're walking, talk with Kami-sama. Have a conversation with Kami-sama. If we put this in modern times, while we're driving in the car, while we're in traffic, let's have let's have a conversation with Kami-sama. If you ever see me driving, fortunately, sometimes I have my mask on, so you can't tell I'm talking to Kami-sama, but I'll have a conversation with Kami-sama. I look a little crazy, but I have this conversation with Kami-sama. When I walk Balboa Park, I have a conversation with Kami-sama. When I'm cleaning the house or washing the dishes or some things, I have a conversation with Kami-sama. These are things that Reverend Washuigawa had so often mentioned to me. When I'm cooking, cleaning, walking, driving, working, have a conversation with Kami-sama. With Kami-sama. With Kami-sama. Finally, he said the fourth way, it's also by praying at home. We have our own home altars. Pray in front of it. There was a believer from Honolulu Church. I remember once she said, you know, Todd Sensei, I'm kind of struggling because, you know, I think my faith is waning. Not that I've lost my faith, but I don't have the drive or desire. I don't have that connection that I once had with Kami-sama. And I told her, you know, to repair that, to fix that, there's a very simple process. And it's called hatsumizu. And hatsumizu is the first water. So before you drink anything or eat anything, you offer the first water to Kami-sama and Mitama-sama. And I do this every morning. Every morning, I brush my teeth, comb my hair, and then I go in front of the altar and I do the hatsumizu before I drink or eat anything. And this is your first initial connection with Kami-sama. at home. As simple as that. That's how simple it is. Pray at your home. Right now, some of you are thinking, well, I can't go to church. Well, there is a way. You can seek toritsugi. You can send an email. You can send a text message. You can send, some of you have me on Facebook. You can send me a DM, direct message on Facebook or Instagram. You can send me those messages. That's one way of coming to church. But this is where, Yukawa Sensei knows that there are some believers who live far away. They can't come to church every day. So pray at your home altar. We have believers who live in other states. Pray at your home altar. If you're ever visiting San Diego, come. It's okay to come to our here. Well, not yet, not at this moment. Until this wonderful pandemic disappears, not yet. But still, you're always with Kami-sama in your home. Always with Kami-sama. Finally, Reverend Hisao Yukawa said this. Even though we have these four things, right now, many of us are suffering. Many of us are going through a lot because of COVID. We're scared to go out. We're scared to come to church. We're scared to go shopping. He said, soon there will be a vaccine. Soon we will be vaccinated. Soon we will there will be a cure. And he said the problem with this is this: once we get this, then our faith goes down. We become complacent in our faith. Versus with Kami-sama, we're going to go back to normal. And I thought, oh my gosh, she's absolutely right. We as humans have a tendency, once everything is good and dandy, we forget Kami-sama and we go back to our normal ways. This is why Reverend Yasutaro Yukawa said, going to church is important. During these hard times, not just during COVID, maybe other hard times in your life, turning your heart and not giving up on Kami-sama. While you're walking, have that connection to Kami-sama. And praying from your home altar. That is a way to continue our faith, keeping Kami-sama with Kami-sama. And he goes on to say that we cannot let down our faith. We have to continue with our faith with much fervor. We cannot stop. If we're going to receive okage, we cannot stop. I'm so reminded of that song. If you were able to listen to the introduction this morning, the song that was playing was called Hikari Kagayaku Michi, or Shining Shimmering Light. And that was written by Reverend Norikazu Yukawa, our founding minister's nephew's wife. My classmate. And she reminded me, one of the things that she learned while training at Taomizu Church was about that with Kami-sama. With Kami-sama. Reverend Imaoka shared with me that with Kami-sama became a part of that song, that you're not alone, when she was training there. And that's such an important aspect for all of us to remember, because we tend to forget it. Today, during our end of year service last year, I challenged all of you. Gave you 2 challenges. Challenge number 1 was to share with me your story, your blessing. Email it me, sandiego.konkodaijin@gmail.com, to share with me your story of blessings that you received in 2020 during the pandemic, because there is a silver lining. Listening to Reverend Hisao Yukawa's speech, ohanashi, or a sermon, that was a huge silver lining for me. It helped me to remember to go back to the basics. Back to the basics with Kami-sama. even myself, even ministers forget about with Kami-sama at times because our everyday lives might just take over and we forget about that. And he reminded me of with Kami-sama. Again, I ask you, your challenge number 2 for this year. Will you commit to living with Kami-sama? Doing everything you do with Kami-sama? Whether it be using the bathroom, cooking, praying, walking, working, playing volleyball, soccer, frisbee, whether it be going shopping or with Kami-sama. I want to challenge you. And may that challenge become a part of your life. So I want to thank you all today so much for coming to today's service. Really quickly, this will be we're going to only have one service for this month for San Diego Church. The service 6, 1, 2, 3, 3. The Whittier Rose Hills Church will be on the 3rd. Their New Year's service will be on the 3rd Sunday. So I will go up to during Martin Luther King Jr. holiday weekend. So I will be going up to Los Angeles for that service to help out with that. Also, if you need a reminder about services, there is the remind.com. Please feel free to sign up for that. Please check the newsletter. The newsletter has the code to log into remind.com. What I will do is, I will let you know the day before just to remind you, hey, we have a service, and 15 minutes before service that, hey, there's a service. It'll come with the link to the YouTube channel. So just something for all of you to think about, please. So with that, I really would like to thank all of you. I ask that you please have a wonderful, healthy, safe, and prosperous Kick Butt 2021 with Kami-sama. And we will see you next month at our monthly service. Ahui ho, and please take care. Aloha.